Well, March has so far proven that it is going to be an active month. We've had severe weather, we've had some flash flooding, and a blizzard, and a lot of roller coaster with our temperatures. A lot of ups, lots of downs. And we're going to be walking you through the weather pattern here in this forecast over the next 2 weeks. Make sure to subscribe to my channel because severe weather is in the forecast actually moving forward, and we want as many people as possible to be aware of this. So make sure to subscribe to my channel, follow along with all my accurate, reliable information here on YouTube. Like the video, very important as well, by giving it a thumbs up, especially if you do find it informative, and share this video with friends, family, and on social media. I definitely appreciate it. Let's look here at our temperature anomalies as we go here into the last day of the work week here on Friday, March 7th. We have the warmer air further to the south, a little bit of a nose of some colder air up here into Nebraska, Iowa, northern Illinois, and that is actually bringing us a little bit of snow as we speak. So let's look at that. We have some snow moving across the Chicagoland up there toward Milwaukee, Madison, Wisconsin. That will stretch over into southern lower Michigan, northern Indiana, so over here from Gary, South Bend, eastward to Fort Wayne, and then Toledo there in northwest Ohio. We also have a cold pocket aloft back here into Arizona and New Mexico, bringing some snow, and that will continue to spiral around into Colorado and into portions of the Oklahoma, Texas panhandle as well, bringing them folks some snow down there as we go through the day on Saturday. And that'll just continue. We have some snow for Amarillo, areas there into western Oklahoma, and then that kind of fizzles out as it runs into warmer air down there in the southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley. Now, looking at the snowfall, as far as that is concerned, we have a nice stripe here of around 1 to 3 inches of snow, especially on those grassy surfaces up here in the Midwest. The pavement temperatures are still pretty warm out there, but still some slushy accumulations on the road. So you still want to take it slow on the roadways there in Chicago, Milwaukee, Madison, Rockford, Illinois, back here toward Des Moines and Waterloo, and then over there into portions of central Nebraska. Some of that snow will be spreading into the northeast, especially interior sections of the northeast as we go into the weekend. Cold pocket aloft back here into the Four Corners region will spread snow from Utah, Colorado, into Arizona and New Mexico, eastward into the Oklahoma, Texas panhandle, and maybe even parts of western Oklahoma as we go into especially Saturday and Sunday. So watching out for some snow there. Now on the warm side, we're going to be watching out for severe weather, a level 1 out of 5. This is a marginal risk across portions of North Texas, small area there near Wichita Falls, down here towards portions west of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And then as we go into Saturday, we're watching areas along and east of the I-35 corridor down here toward I-10. So we're watching down toward Baton Rouge, Shreveport, into Lake Charles, New Orleans, over here into Jackson, Mississippi, Mobile, all the way eastward to Panama City as we go into Saturday there in the dark green. Again, a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk. And then on Sunday, level 1 out of 5 marginal risk again. This covers southern Georgia and North Florida, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, and over there towards Savannah, Georgia. So keeping an eye on that. Main threat here over the next couple of days will be 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail, but a brief isolated tornado or two cannot be ruled out in areas in that dark green shaded color. So let's look at this. This is the instantaneous flash rate. This basically shows you the lightning here in the atmosphere, and it shows you where thunderstorms could be. So we are looking at the afternoon here today and going into overnight. Notice those storms pop up well after dark and really towards the pre-dawn hours of your Saturday across north central Texas, in and around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, over here towards Wichita Falls and areas like that. Could be seeing some scattered strong storms. Again, hail and gusty winds will be the main threat, but an isolated tornado cannot be ruled out. Now, as we go further east, we're going to see those storms begin to bubble up again along and east of the I-35 corridor as we go into Saturday afternoon, and you can see that very clearly here. We go into Saturday morning, you can see not much happening here, but maybe a couple storms in East Texas, and then we start to see those storms bubble up into Louisiana, Mississippi, southern Alabama there, northwest Florida there through the evening on Saturday, and then all that activity shifts to the east on Sunday, southern Georgia, North Florida. And this could also come with a flash flooding risk. A lot of thunderstorms training from west to east over the same areas here in North Florida could give us some pretty heavy rainfall. So here is the precipitation. This is liquid precipitation for the most part, and you can see we have a lot of that across the Dixie Alley and the southeast, with the heaviest moisture southern Georgia, southeastern Alabama, but especially North Florida here. Panama City to Tallahassee, maybe Gainesville over here toward Jacksonville and Savannah, Georgia. Those areas could see 2 2 to 4 inches worth of rain as we go through your Monday morning commute. So watch out for ponding of the water on the roadways, low-lying areas, and also some flash flooding in general. Now, going into next week, synoptically, our pattern is going to flip, and it's going to become more spring-like here east of the Rockies. So this is Monday, March 10th through Friday, March 14th. We're going to be seeing much warmer than normal air here in the orange and reds east of the Rockies. And then we're going to see some colder than normal air here in the blues and greens west here across California, Arizona, especially as we go into next week. Now, this could spell out the potential for some record high temperatures up here into the northern plains and upper Midwest, places like the Dakotas, Minnesota there Monday. And you can just see that warmer air continue as we go into Tuesday, although we do have a fetch of some northerly winds here up towards the Dakotas, northern Minnesota on Tuesday. Wednesday could bring our temperatures down a little bit, but you can see a lot of 60s, a lot of 70s trying to make their way further north into the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Northeast as we go into the heart of next week. Now, that is troublesome because if you look at the synoptic background state of the atmosphere, we're going to have a trough coming in as we go into next week. Pretty strong trough here into California on Monday, March 10th, and then I'll push across the Four Corners region on Tuesday, March 11th. And then into Wednesday, March 12th, a really early to middle portion of next week, kind of a kicker system. And then our main parent trough is going to be diving down from the Aleutian Islands in Alaska all the way into the Northeast Pacific and really kind of paralleling the West Coast as we go into the middle of next week. So that's going to bring a lot of moisture to the West Coast and then eventually downstream into the central U.S. by later next week. So let's look here first at the West Coast. This is kind of our kicker system to get everything going, kind of get the ball rolling on our active weather pattern next week. Here's Monday. We got some active weather with rain in the green, snow in the blue, and you notice a lot of that has a tendency to move into central and southern California. Northern California maybe gets a little bit of rain and snow, but not much, and the Sierras also get a little bit of snow. Flagstaff, Arizona as well on Tuesday get some snow. That could spread into Colorado and New Mexico. Then here comes our parent low and our parent trough. This is going to bring a lot more moisture to the table here with a lot of heavy snow here, maybe an inch to 3 inch per hour snow rates in the Sierra Mountains, and then very heavy foothill rains across central and southern California foothills here as we go into that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday time frame, and then eventually getting caught up with that colder air aloft, so more very heavy snow in a widespread fashion across the Rockies as we go into later next week, Thursday and into Friday. So simply to put, we're going to have a lot of rainfall. Mudslides are going to be a concern here, so be aware of that, especially in California, where we could be seeing a couple of inches of rain in a short amount of time, really just in a couple of days. And then very heavy snow. Look at the Sierras getting over 60 inches of snow, so several feet there. And then a lot of areas in the Rockies getting at least a foot or more of snow there, all the way up as far north as Montana, Idaho, or as far south as Arizona and New Mexico, seeing that later next week. Now, watching the kicker system as it moves further east here into the central and eastern U.S. as well. Notice that's going to bring us a little bit of rain as we go into Tuesday across maybe the southern plains, and then especially into Wednesday across the Mississippi Valley and southeast. This could bring a little bit of a severe weather risk down here toward Dixie Alley, the Tennessee Valley, and the southeast as we go into Wednesday, Thursday, so the 12th and 13th of March. Probably a low-end day for severe weather. The kinematics are not looking as great as the system behind that, but we could see a little bit more rainfall to add insult to injury across the southeast as we go into the middle of the week. So a couple areas seeing an inch of rain, some areas seeing not as much rain. And looking here at the main low pressure trough that's going to come in by the middle of next week, this is our big system, okay? This is our low pressure that's going to move into Oregon, Nevada, and Northern California Wednesday, March 12th. Watch that as it pushes across here into the Rockies on Thursday, March 13th. Pretty strong low over there, 994 millibars. And then as we go into Friday, that's going to kick out the lee side of the Rockies, going to develop and really strengthen here East Colorado into western Kansas, southwestern Nebraska. And then that's going to have a tendency to strengthen, and a strengthening low pressure system tends to pull further north. So we're going to see that pull from kind of more west to east at first, and then it strengthens, and then it's going to pull from more southwest to northeast up toward the Twin Cities there. Areas along the Mississippi Valley are in the warm sector of this storm as it occludes. So as we go into the middle of the next week, here comes that system out there on Thursday into Friday, warm sector rain and severe weather as well, and a blizzard on the backside with some very tight isobars, very strong winds there. And I am concerned about a severe weather risk here into into parts of Iowa, southern Wisconsin, much of Illinois, Indiana, and even as far south here as Arkansas, Tennessee, and even to the Gulf Coast as we go into that Friday into Saturday time frame. Now, not to get too specific here, but to give you an idea of some of the dynamics and parameters that we're looking at. Looking at the moisture, again, a little bit questionable with northward extent. I know a lot of people are saying, well, we don't have the moisture, but even in early to mid-March setups for severe weather, 50-degree dew points will get it done, especially when coupled with a little bit of instability here. Again, it's not as strong because we're a mid-March setup here. But look at the kinematics, folks. We're talking a very strong jet streak in the 500 millibar layer, rounding the base of the trough, and that will get it done. That will pick up the slack for the low moisture return and the low instability. I promise you that. This is going to be a low cape, but high shear environment, which means low storm energy, but a lot of wind energy in the atmosphere. And you can see that in the low level jet here, very cranking over 75 knots in the Midwest as we go into that Friday, Saturday time frame. So watching severe weather as the system occludes could get an arcing band of some supercells up there into the Midwest, Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, or we could get a QLCS line that is strongly forced with widespread damaging winds and some embedded tornadoes. And I think the hail threat will be lower just due to the fact that the instability is not as strong this time of year. Now, this storm's going to have a lot of wind energy, as we did just speak about. Wildfire risks are going to be growing down here in New Mexico, West Texas, and then the backside, the blizzard, is going to be a problem as well for the Dakotas and down toward Nebraska, western Minnesota. Very strong northwest winds while it's snowing. Yes, a blizzard will be likely here, and we could be seeing at least a few inches of snow across the northern plains, upper Midwest with this, mainly northern Wisconsin, the western UP of Michigan, northern and central Minnesota, much of the Dakotas, and western and central parts of Nebraska, and then that'll trail back there toward the Intermountain West as we go into late next week. Now, we have been continuing to keep an eye on the sudden stratospheric warming event. So right now, present time, Friday, March 7th, we are not seeing much warming here, a little bit, but not much. But as we go into next week, we're really going to get the ball rolling on the stratosphere beginning to warm up. That's going to make the polar vortex disrupted, and it's going to bring some colder air down, potentially into the United States and Canada as we go into that last week or so of March, maybe even the first week of April. It has a 1 to 2 week lag time on it. So looking here at the third week of March, you can see some colder air beginning to spill in here. And then if we go into the second week or so of March, notice the colder air is trying to trail in from Alaska and then dumping south into western Canada and the northern U.S. here. That's what some of the long-range guidance is showing. And the placement of this again is a little bit uncertain. How far south it goes, how far east it goes is uncertain at this point, but it does look a little colder to end the month of March and active as well. So we're still going to see some active weather, a lot of green here on the map, a lot of browns as well. So areas into, say, the Rio Grande might be drier than areas in the Midwest or the Southeast, but definitely seeing some wetter times. And with the colder air in place, could be seeing some snow up there. So the snowfall threat will continue in the areas into the northern plains, very far upper Midwest, especially southeastern Canada in this pattern, and interior New England, northwest of the I-95 corridor into that last week or so of March. Hey, if you have any questions regarding the weather pattern or anything weather related, I am here for you, so make sure to jot down your comments, questions, concerns in the comment section down below the video. Also, like the video, especially if you did find it very informative. Severe weather is in the forecast, and we want to get this out to as many people as possible, so this is a time to share this video with friends, family, and on social media, and subscribe to my channel to stick with me for the accurate and reliable weather information I provide to you here on these videos and live streams I do on my channel. Thank you all for watching. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their work week out there on Friday. That's all the weather I got for you today, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their Friday out there.